I like it.
Welcome to Time Out with G Will, episode 7. Today's special guest, Big Ten referee Reggie Smith. Welcome, Reggie.
Thank you, G Dubs. Good to be with you, and good to I got to get used to that Big Ten. I've got to get used to it, but it's got a nice ring.
Yes,
I'm
it
liking it
does.
so far.
Yes, it does. So today's topic is talking about being a good crew chief and a good crewmate. What makes a good crew chief?
All right. This is a good question because first and foremost, as a crew chief, and this will be my 10th year as a crew chief, and it's always an evolving process. I mean, as a crew chief, you've got to be a leader, you've got to be a counselor, you've got to be an advisor, you've got to console, you've got to congratulate, you've got to build up, you've got to be any number of items as a crew chief. And we're just talking about items that has nothing to do with blowing a ready for play or enforcing a penalty. So we're talking about off the field issues. And I think a good crew chief is somebody who comes across as, relatable both on and off the field, and somebody who wouldn't ask you to do something that he or she, would not do themselves. So you want to make sure that you're setting a good example for your crew. You're leading by example. And also you've got to be all of the aforementioned, roles, because there's, like I said, so much more, than just blowing a whistle or enforcing a penalty. And what I find a good crewmate is somebody who's always seeking to get better. I've always been fortunate to at least surround myself or build around myself fellow officials who, become good crewmates. They become selfless. They take upon a role, that will ease the burden of, other members of the crew, mostly off the field when you get into your breakdown of responsibilities and crew areas of focus, hotels, meals, rental cars, etc. But, you want somebody who is going to step up on the field. They'll check you in private if they feel that there's something where we're going down the wrong road. And, there's somebody you can trust and confide that, okay, it's 3rd and 18. I know this pass coming down the sideline. I know G. Will's going to be in great position. He's got excellent mechanics. He's got excellent judgment. Someone that you can trust whenever that bang bang call's got to be made. Those are all the makings of a good crewmate, in my opinion.
Okay. As a crew chief, what are your expectations of your crew each week?
Boy, this, I guess it would depend on, you could ask several of the people who've worked with me before, but my expectations are very, very high. During the week, I believe is, each week, and, we've got to understand that each week is more than just showing up and working that game for 3.5 hours. That's actually our reward for a hard week's worth of preparation. That game on Saturday afternoon or evening or whatever, that's the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the finish line tape. So leading up to it, I expect honest breakdown and film critique of our prior week's game. Generally, this will take place anywhere from Sunday through Wednesday, because by Wednesday, we're reviewing, we're moving on. Come Thursday, I am totally dialed into the 2 teams that I've got on Saturday. So that will involve, hours of watching, their prior week's game. And if there are any areas that I've identified as a referee that we need to discuss to, be more, cohesive, or if there are areas that we need to improve, focus correction areas, I call them, then, I'll make sure that's a part of our agenda. But by and large, I expect each member of the crew to, be a contributing factor on and off the field during the week to pull his or her weight when it comes to film review, and then providing self-critical and honest feedback amongst us all. So it's got to come down to honesty, again, back to trust, and you've got to, just be prepared to require them to, pitch in an equal amount of work. And as a crew, that's how we all get better, all 10 of us. So
Okay, it's good information. You kind of answered the next question. The next question was, how important is weekly communication and in-game communication with your crew?
Oh, well, weekly communication, and no, I'll answer them separately. You know, if you can, I feel like weekly communication doesn't have to come in the form of, longer drawn out conference calls that may come at inconvenient times during the week, because, we're a crew of 10 people. So aside from myself, there are others who may be dealing with young children, demanding careers. Everybody's got something going on, and I'm trying, and I try to be mindful of that. So communication during the week might be, a text message chain is my preferred method of communicating with my crew during the week. And the communication may not even be about football. It could be about something going on. It could be, anything inspirational, comical. It could be an acknowledgement of, someone's, kid who's graduating high school. But the on-field communication, I think, starts in the simplest of forms. It could be reaching out to a phone call. It could be, text message, emails, online collaborative Zoom meetings, as we know, are very, very big and getting more and more popular here. But I feel all that is essential. So I won't bog them down during the week. I prefer, my style is more of a collaborative process. Okay, this is what we have to do. This is what we've got. This is our work. It needs to be done by Wednesday. Whether you attack it all on Sunday, all on Monday, or all on Tuesday, or break it up during the days, I don't care. But at some point, we just have to get it done, and that's effectively communicated. But email is big. Let them know, okay, these are your topics to discuss in our pregame. What would you like them to be? Hopefully it's a lesson learned from the prior week's game, or it could be something for, the benefit of all on the crew. So we try to keep it film related, and, we can have an effective foundation of communication during the week, off the field. Then whenever we're on the field, we should be able to effectively communicate by our mechanics, by our O2O communications. And, I expect that to be something that we talk about in our pre-games, how we're going to effectively communicate, because not all communication is good communication. And we want to make sure we're sifting out the bad and getting what we need to help us in our judgments, in our, discussions, in our applications of rules and so forth. So very important. I think it's just easier if you have a friendly foundation. So.
Okay. Good, good, awesome, awesome. And last question, what advice would you give to a young official that is aspiring to be a crew chief?
Boy, I tell you, I just answered this question the other day, and I would say, are you sure? That would be my advice. I mean, are you sure? Because I'll tell you right now, when I asked to be a crew chief, I mean, there were a number of factors that led into it. One, it was something I wanted to be. So you've got to want to be a referee. First and foremost, you've got to want to be a referee. Two, when I said, are you sure? I mean, that leads into this. Being a referee isn't just about making great sounding announcements and looking good on television, both of which I've been alleged to have done, once or twice. So I've got a comical side, but, but it's all about that. Hey, are you a leader? Are you somebody who's capable of leading others? Because early on in my referee career, like I sort of fell into referee. I had a couple of scramble games early in 2011 when I, expressed the interest, worked a spring game, got a couple of September games. That's usually how it works. And, a well-respected referee got injured midway through the season, and they didn't want the referee du jour each week. They wanted, continuity on that crew. And I had worked on that crew my first 2 years in the conference, and, they were comfortable enough to take a chance on me, and, I, hope it, is paid off. But that's I just sort of fell into it because I expressed an interest. So, you've got to, make that interest known if you're a younger official. But you've also got to make sure you're capable of dealing with everything I answered in that first part. Are you going to be the counselor, the advisor, sometimes a disciplinarian, sometimes a coach, a motivator? You've got to wear so many hats, and you've got to be understanding that that's also part of the role. So that would be my advice. Make sure it's something that you really want and that you have a grasp on what it is that others are supposed to do in their role on the field.
Okay. Well, this has been Time Out with G. Will. Today's special guest, the great Reggie the Ref. Thank you, Reggie, for taking time out of your busy schedule. We do appreciate it.
G. Will, thanks for having me. Looking forward to this season, man.
Take care.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.